Well, welcome back to Your Health TV and radio program on AM 1240 KNRY and cable television channel 24 and on the web at ampmedia.org. I am Dr. Lisa Hernandez, and we are talking about traffic safety. Our second guest is Officer Robert Lehman. He is the Public Information Officer for the Monterey Area California Highway Patrol, and he will be speaking to us about child safety, car seats, and safety belts. Thank you, Officer Lehman, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
There are a lot of questions, and we actually got a number of questions from the audience as well. So if we have time, I will deviate from my questions to the ones from the audience because there were some really good ones there as well.
Okay.
First, about car seats. What age does a child have to stay in a car seat, and what are the laws around that?
Basically, the laws governing car seats and use of car seats say that a child must be in a car seat until the age of 6 or 60 pounds, whichever comes first, and that applies to an appropriate car seat. So that's what the law says. Now, recommendation-wise, typically we like to recommend people wait until the car seat belt fits over the lap of the child, and their legs, the knees bend as it goes over the edge of the vehicle's seat, actually. So that's about an age of about 8 years old, 4 foot 9 inches tall, somewhere in that area. Again, you have to use the appropriate size car seat. There's several different models. There's rear-facing only. There's convertibles, which are forward-facing and rear-facing. They all have different weight limitations. They all have different height limitations as well. Then we also have booster seats. That's something we can probably talk about a little bit later, but those are considered car seats as well. But again, the minimum is age 6 and 60 pounds. I would recommend leave them in a car seat as long as you possibly can. Find a car seat with a higher weight rating. Much safer to have those, what we call a 5-point harness system than just the 3-point harness system, which you'd find built into most vehicles.
You answered all my next questions. I was just
okay,
going to ask
great.
you about the 3-point and the 5-point harnesses, because that's always something that you see when you get to the store and you wonder which is better. 5 sounds better, but...
Yeah, the 5-point standard in any child safety seat. Honestly, if it was cheap enough, I'm sure that the National Highway Safety Administration would mandate that for all manufacturers to just put those in all vehicle seats.
Right.
Obviously, if you have a seatbelt holding you in from all points, your odds of not being injured in collision are far better than with the 3-point. When we say 3-point harness, that means the vehicle seatbelt, which is what we find in most vehicle seatbelts, has one belt that comes over here and one that goes across your lap. So it connects to 3 different points in the car, as opposed to the child seat, where it's got 2 straps that come over the shoulders, one across the belt and one between the legs as well. So it connects to the seat in 5 different points. So that ultimately really secures your child into the vehicle.
And what about the car seats that have the tethers that go to the back?
That's the way we install a seat. Car seats are very confusing now. A lot of people, especially first-time parents, they get that car seat home and they open it up and they see all these belts and all these latches coming out of it. They don't know what the heck to do. The tether strap is simply another way to secure the car seat, child restraint, into the vehicle as well. And not every vehicle is equipped to actually use that tether strap.
Okay. And what about going back to car seats then? And is there a particular brand that's better than the other? Do you go for the one with all the bells and whistles and the highest price, or is there something that might help us when we're making that choice?
Basically, what I recommend is you want to buy the car seat that fits your child the best and that fits in your car the best. I've helped a lot of people try and install their car seats, and they'll go out and buy the biggest, fanciest car seat they can find, most expensive one, and then they're driving a small compact car and we try and install it and it just won't fit. So you really need to check how much room you're going to have in your vehicle versus the size of that car seat. As well, if you have a larger kid, especially as they get a little bit older, you might want one of the seats that might cost a little bit more but has a higher weight rating that goes up to a higher weight for the 5-point harness system. Most car seats now, they're standard to 40 or 50 pounds, and then you have to switch to a booster seat. There's newer, more expensive car seats that actually go up to a weight ratings of 65 to 80 pounds in that 5-point harness. So if you have a child that might be a little bit off the growth charts, as we might say, you might want to go for one of those seats just to keep them in that 5-point harness a little bit longer.
And you mentioned the different configurations of the seats. What about for the booster? Is it better to have one with a back to it, or just a more portable one with just a seat?
That depends on the type of vehicle that it's going to be
Okay.
installed in. The idea with the high back, what we call the high back booster seat, which is the seat with the actual back on it, is to be used in a vehicle where there's no head and neck protection. So it would be a car without any sort of headrest on the back seat. That would be ideal. The simple, it's kind of like a restaurant booster seat you see, you can use that if you have a vehicle that has does have head and neck protection. Honestly, I would probably say the high back booster seat would be the best configuration no matter what. It's if you're going to be switching back and forth between different types of vehicles, and it just offers a little extra head and neck support and protection in case of a collision.
Okay. And you mentioned installing. Yes, I remember when I first tried to install my car seat, it was new baby, new car seat. How did they, and putting that into the car, are there services, are there places that you can go to get your car seat inspected or help with even installing it?
You sure can. The California Highway Patrol, every single office in the state of California has certified car seat technicians, and we do offer a service. You do have to do it by appointment, and it's a free service. You can come in, we'll inspect the car seat, we'll teach you how to put it in properly. And you got to plan ahead though. It's inevitably, this happens. I mean, towards the end of everybody's first pregnancy, everything starts to happen all at the same time. We get that father who rushes into our office. We just gave birth and we're going home today. Can you help us with the car seat? And don't recommend trying to do that. If we have somebody available to do it, we will. But we do have car seat technicians in every office throughout the state, and they're there to assist you. They're there to make sure you have the proper seat in your car. Okay. Also, if the seat you're using might be a hand-me-down from a previous child, we'll take a look at it for you. Car seats do degrade. They only have a lifespan of about 6 to 7 years. I've seen some where the plastic really starts to fail prior to that. So we'll take a look at those car seats and make sure they are still safe for you. If we determine that that seat is not safe anymore and you happen to have your child with you, we do maintain a small inventory of seats in our offices that we can switch those out at no charge. But again, that's a limited program we have. We try and limit those amount of seats we give out just in case of those emergency situations where people do come in and they have children in the car and the seats just are not safe.
So that's why some car seats have expiration dates on.
Exactly. That's a new feature a lot of new car seats have, is expiration dates. Something else, too, to look at. A lot of the information, basic information about a car seat's right on the side, right on the stickers, maximum weights, maximum heights. Something we see when parents bring their seats in to get checked out is their children have severely outgrown the seats that they have for their cars. We'll have what we call a infant-only carrier type system, and they'll have a 35-pound kid that's just overflowing from that seat, and just they haven't thought to read the side of the seat or actually have gone through the manual to look at the maximum weight ranges and height ranges for that seat.
And should you inspect your car seat ever so often as well? It sounds like that might be a good idea.
You should, because things will loosen up over time. If it's installed with a seat belt, that'll loosen, or if it's installed with what's called the latch system, all that loosens up over time. Additionally, kids grow, which means the straps on the seat may have to be moved to different locations on the seat. If you look at most child safety seats, they have various slots throughout them, so you can adjust the height of those straps. So that has to be adjusted too from time to time. But again, I usually check the seats in our cars for my daughter at least once a month to make sure they're still secure and all the straps are in the right place.
So check your oil, check your fluids, check your car seat.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. And moving to seat belts, what are some of the most common misuses of a seat belt that you see?
The biggest, there's two big ones. Not wearing it, first of all.
Yeah.
Always wear your seatbelt. But the second one is people wearing it improperly. And by that I mean, we see this all the time, and we actually write citations for it all the time. People tend to put their seatbelt under their arm. The seatbelt's not designed to be worn that way. The law is fairly clear. It says the seatbelt must be worn properly. By wearing it under the arm, you're actually risking more injury to yourself if you're involved in a collision. You could even risk ejection if your vehicle comes upside down. The seatbelt's meant to come over your shoulder. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is that if you're in a collision, even a minor collision, those seatbelts typically are designed to lock and tighten at the point of that collision, and it happens quite quickly. If you have the seatbelt around your chest, you're probably risking quite a bit of damage to your torso. Up above on the shoulder, you're going to be a little bruised, but you probably won't risk much internal injuries, broken ribs, things like that. And again, if you were to be involved in some sort of rollover collision, you could certainly risk ejection. That's one other purpose of having the shoulder harness, is to kind of hold you down in that seat in case you do go on the side or upside down, which does happen, unfortunately.
So does the lap also tighten, or is it just...
The lap will tighten as well. The entire component itself will tighten. But it also depends on the type of seatbelt you have. Some seatbelts, the reel, or what we call the retractor, is actually only above your shoulder, where it goes into the sort of the pillar of the car. The portion across your lap is fixed, so it would tighten first above your shoulder, tighten and lock above your shoulder. But some vehicles, the retractor is actually towards the floor, so it would tighten across your lap first.
Okay, got to check my car when I get in. What about some of the programs that the California Highway Patrol has? Can you give us a little bit of information about the safety programs that you offer?
Yeah, we have a variety of safety programs. First and foremost, our car seat one that we did talk about. Again, that's free service to anybody. You just call and make an appointment. We'll check out the car seat. We'll make sure you're installing it properly, make sure it's the proper seat for your child. We also offer a few different programs for teen drivers. The first one is called the Start Smart program. And it's a program designed for new drivers and their parents to attend together. It's a free class. We give it usually at the CHP office 1 to 2 times a month, 2 hours in the evening. And we address things that a lot of teen drivers don't realize or don't think about when they get behind the wheel, mainly the consequences of poor decision making behind the wheel. We also offer parents some tips, some tools that they have at their disposal as the parent or the guardian of a new driver, and some of their responsibilities as well. And we actually show them a lot of gory videos too, so we like to add an element of realism to the program and to driving as well. Highway Patrol also offers what we call the Every 15 Minutes program, which we've just finished over here on the peninsula with Carmel and Monterey high schools. And essentially that's targeted at reducing drunk driving among teen populations. Where we stage a car crash, we stage a funeral, and we actually pull students out of class throughout the day, simulating the fact that every 15 minutes in the United States, somebody is killed or injured as a result of a DUI-related crash. So that's another program we offer. In addition, we go out and we talk to various community groups, senior driving groups, anybody we can, trying to get the word out, spread the message of traffic safety.
And where can we get information on that? Is there a website or a phone number?
You can go to the CHP website, it's just chp.ca.gov. They'll have listings of all of our programs, and there's many more than what I mentioned. Or you can call our office, 831 area code 796-2100. You can talk to myself. I'm the one who administers most of those programs or assigns officers to go out and do them. But again, either way, you can find out quite a bit of information. And we do offer a lot of programs that people don't realize. They're all designed just to keep us safe out there on the highways.
Can you repeat the phone number and email, the website again?
Yeah, the website, www.chp.ca.gov. And our phone number at the Monterey area California Highway Patrol office is area code 831-796-2100.
Okay. Well, we have, I think, maybe 1 or 2 minutes to go over some questions that we got from the audience. So let me give you the first one. One was submitted about where is the safest place in the car to place your car seat?
Safest place is always in the middle rear seat. Okay, middle rear seat. If you have a vehicle with 3 rows of seats, put them in that middle row. And that's going to offer the best protection from side and rear and forward impacts. So again, we always say middle seat if possible.
Okay. And what about if you have 2 kids in car seats? Where should they go?
If you can get one seat in the middle, not all vehicles are large enough to do this, but if you are able to, keep one seat in that middle position And then I always recommend if you have to install a seat in the outboard position, put it on the right side, what we would call the passenger side of the vehicle. That way, just in case you're loading or unloading your kids and you're parked on the street, typically that right side is the off-traffic side. So you're not going to be loading or unloading children into traffic. Obviously, not all vehicles, you can put them in the middle seat, so you might have to separate them out. You just have to use caution if you're loading or unloading your kids.
Okay. Another question came in about car seat recalls. Where is the best place to find that information?
The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration website they have the up-to-date listings of all child seat recalls. You go on there, you just put in the make and model of your car seat and the model number. It'll tell you whether or not it's subject to a recall. But also, when somebody purchases a car seat, there's a little postcard that comes with it. You fill it out, you mail it back to the manufacturer. What that does is register your car seat. In case there are any recalls, the manufacturer is going to automatically notify you and send you the replacement parts or replacement seat if needed.
Okay. I think we have 1 minute to sneak in a last question.
Great.
Should you buy a used car seat?
Never.
Okay.
Never buy a car seat at a flea market. Never buy a used car seat. I don't recommend you donate car seats to any type of agency. The only time we'd ever say use a secondhand car seat is if you know the absolute history of that seat. You know it's never been involved in a crash. You know who bought it, and all the original hardware that was with the seat when it was purchased came with it, including the owner's manual. So never buy a used car seat because you typically don't know the history of that car seat.
Well, thank you so much, Officer Lehman. I've learned a lot. I think I'm going to have to switch my car seat in my car.
Bring it by our office. We'll take a look at it.
Okay, I'll call first, so make an appointment.
Great. Thank you.
Well, thank you. We're going to take a short break now. This is Your Health radio and television program, and I'm Dr. Lisa Hernandez. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, so please don't go away.